Hello everyone, it is now GT time. I will be your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us, as always, is a uniquely talented and knowledgeable panel, including this week Elise Willems, again filling in for Brandon Jones.
Hey guys, love GTA 5. Love being Brandon Jones.
What is it like being Brandon Jones?
Very handsome, very well spoken. Mm-hmm. I have a really nice office with a great, street view. It's great being Brandon Jones.
Next to her, Ben Moore, sitting in for Daniel Bloodworth.
Yes.
Daniel
I love
Bloodworth.
cars.
What's the last racing game you've played?
I bought Gran Turismo 6.
Not an answer to my question, but we'll move on anyway.
Right.
Lastly but not leastly, Michael Damiani.
Who is sitting in for Miguel Lopez.
That's a deep cut. That's truly for the fans. So Daniel Bloodworth is on location this week. Brandon is still during jury duty.
During jury. You got the uniquely talented and enlightened panel part.
Enlightened panel is what you want to... I should do enlightened. Yeah, and then mess up jury duty. Oh, man. So they'll probably both be back next week. But we have, in the meantime, this cool panel.
You know what's left over.
What's left over?
The silver medals.
So let's start with the biggest news of the week. Amazon has finally revealed its video games machine.
The Ouya.
It's an Ouya.
Box.
It's a box. And what is it? The name is?
Fire TV.
Is the name of this product. Is it Amazon Fire
You
TV
get
or
it?
just Fire TV?
Amazon
That's a good-
Fire TV.
yeah.
Okay.
And you get what that is, right? They want you to fire your television and buy this device.
This device only works
Fire
with
traditional
That's
television
not even...
and get this box.
That's exactly what it means.
Because you want to stream all things from it.
So,
It's a psychological thing.
so this product is available now. They announced it and said you can go order this. It is shipping today.
Really?
Just like
Yeah.
Sega's wonderful Sega Saturn.
Where's the
Almost
Amazon?
like that, actually.
Yeah.
Where's the Amazon store? Can I just walk in and buy one?
You can't. No, you can only order it off
I can't
Amazon.com.
wait at midnight for the launch.
So-
Amazon is an online retailer.
Can I wait outside one of their warehouses
Fun
at
fact.
midnight?
I bet you could do that. $99. Who here wants one?
No. Yes.
No.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think they should have come out the gate with an actual if they had said, okay, we're announcing our first game is with Double Fine. I think they should have had a little bit more push with showing. They've boasted this list of developers, but if they had something more to show for their first push of this is the developer we've got.
Yeah, I guess we
developed,
should we should talk about that game they did push, their big exclusive title,
Sub-Zero, Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero.
The hell is that?
Get this, a shooter set in space.
Where you drop in.
Yeah, so basically there were a lot of rumors leading up to this. As past as August, there were rumors about Amazon making a games console to compete with PlayStation and the Xbox.
they bought Double Helix.
They
right?
bought Double Helix. They've been buying talent. They got a Halo novel writer on the team.
Big talent there.
Yeah, exactly. Can't tell if that was facetious.
Yeah, I can tell.
Have you read a Halo novel, Ben?
No.
Okay.
But I did check one out from the library once.
When you bought
Like
Gran
high
Turismo.
No, in college,
Okay.
which is worse.
But yeah, so the first exclusive title, this launch title is Sub-Zero, only for the Fire TV. Basically, watching this is when my expectations died.
Yes.
Damiani, how did you feel watching the Sub-Zero trailer?
Does it look like any other generic shooter? Seriously, the whole thing, it's great that it's finally coming out. It's cool that I guess it's $99, so I'm sure a lot of people will buy it. The controller, that's exactly what that controller is. That leaked image was exactly...
Oh yeah, we talked about it on the
bulky,
show. Yeah.
bulky ass thing, but whatever, it looks normal. I've been paying attention to games for 20-something years.
Your lifetime.
Yeah, since I remember when the PlayStation first came out, people were like, Sony making a PlayStation, because Philips tried to make the CDI, Magnavox, and tried to make the 3DO, whatever the hell the thing was called. So many new systems had come and gone, and it was just like Nintendo and Sega. It takes a lot for a company to make hardware in the gaming industry and it to stick. And I think Amazon has the ability to do that. I just don't. Everything I saw, I'm like, okay, cool. Here come games. It looks okay. It looks the same as when I saw Ouya announced and came out. The games, Android games were hit. I don't know. It did not wow me. It was just okay, cool. This didn't seem so hard for anyone to do. But whether or not you make anything meaningful that doesn't go as anything other than a fad. go ahead. Let's see
Yeah.
see what you could like prove. You need to prove yourself to me still. Like this was not that exciting to me. Like, oh, it just means another competitor. I'm sure every news site's going to be like, oh, Amazon's entered the game, and that is a big deal. Amazon's huge. That is a big thing that they're entering. Just what are they going to do with that? They had the means. Well, they realize that type of stuff, and that's the part I care more about.
Right. So basically, on their site, on the product page for the Fire TV, the Amazon Fire TV, they directly compare it against Roku and Apple TV and Chrome, Chromecast. I mean, basically, it's clear at this point. Maybe my expectations were too high in thinking this was going to be a games machine. Ben, did you watch the sizzle reel of all the games coming up?
I did.
Did you see anything you liked in that sizzle reel?
There was one thing that I liked that I
Okay.
didn't realize until after the sizzle reel was over.
Yeah.
I think it would have been very easy for them to say, have put in a bunch of mobile ports and say like, hey, you liked these on iPhone and Android and you know these names, get excited. Everything they show, everything that was in that trailer, I had never seen before.
Right.
And I think that's actually kind of a bold move to say, these are all new properties exclusive for this device. You may not know what they are, but we're pushing for new things. I think that's kind of encouraging.
Did you like the quality of what you saw?
No.
They all kind of had this DreamWorks tie-in movie game vibe to them for me.
They
Did
do all
anyone
look
else
pretty
get
cheap.
that?
Yeah, totally.
Like-
totally.
That's such a specific, perfect.
Like
yeah.
a panda walking through the woods with a bamboo stick, and he's gonna go take on a swarm of enemies. That's kind of the vibe I was getting.
That's
Definitely.
it. They all look. They like. I don't want to be mean. They look like mobile games. They all look like mobile games that could run on our phones.
Do you get the sense that my biggest problem with the Fire TV is that it falls into this really horrible valley where they're not trying to directly compete with the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4, but they say on like their product page, we have more RAM and power than Roku, than Apple, and even if you're not into games, you can still like this device. Yeah. But if you are super into games, we have things for you. It's like they're just trying to please everybody, so you're going to be left with a machine that doesn't do anything exceptionally well.
But that's what I feel Amazon has been really trying to broaden their horizons over the last year. They're dipping themselves into every market. They have Amazon, their own television series that they're developing now. They have
their own tablets.
They have games. They have there's an 8 gigabyte hard drive in this thing, but they've got the Amazon Cloud. So don't worry, you just get the Amazon Cloud service. You don't need more than 8 gigs in your Fire TV. I feel like they're at least trying to innovate, which companies like Blockbuster and that fall to the wayside because they don't try doing that. But I mean, I have Chromecast. I probably won't pick up one of these.
Yeah, I want to read it. This is the comment I plucked this week. This is from Error Macro.
Oh, cool. What's
What?
up, Mortal Kombat?
What?
Ermac.
Oh, you're right. That might be an Ermac reference.
Yes. Could be.
Ermac is a hidden character in Mortal Kombat that was an unintentionally hidden character at first, and then became canon for anyone who was up for some Mortal Kombat trivia just then. Anyway, Error Macro said, "No thanks. I already have plenty of devices that can stream video services. Plus, I have actual game systems if I want to play games. And if for some reason I have the urge to play some half-baked crap phone game, I have a smartphone to cover that, so ellipsis." Basically, I feel like that kind of mirrors that. It's like this thing is too many in-betweens that it doesn't do any one job well. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I said.
Yeah, it's like Error Macro did it much more succinctly and with more attitude, I'd have to say.
Well, that's fine. I'm not an attitude kind of guy, you know?
But it's like, to me, I think Netflix said like one of the devices that was streamed the most, used the most Netflix was the PlayStation 3. Mm-hmm. And I think that's like, it's like people want a nice machine, I think. I think they don't necessarily all want a little $99 box. It bugged me so much that in the language of the press release that they're like, most of these games cost 99 cents or less.
$1.65 or whatever.
In the meantime, they're showing NBA 2K14 like it's the same one you'll get on Xbox or PlayStation. And that made me like so angry. I think it's misleading to show NBA 2K14 without saying like mobile version. Damiani, do you feel the same way? Should they like signify
they
that?
they just wanted like headline names on that. Like I saw that image where it had like they're all like an app icon shape.
Yeah.
Like
and LeBron
like
James is doing this.
It's
Yeah.
This is marketing, but that sucks. That's not what you're getting. You're not getting that type of game.
Do you guys think that those games from developers and publishers that we know will be exclusive to, or that they'll also eventually be ported to other?
Double Helix? That thing will be
like,
exclusive.
They have like, who are the other developers? Like Double Fine's in with them.
Oh, and I mean, we should mention actually a huge thing just dropped right before we recorded. 2 new hires.
Yeah.
Okay, what's this? You already got some attitude before I even say
No,
these.
I'm
What's
saying
up?
like I'm prefacing it. Yeah. Here we
Okay. Kim
No.
Swift and Clint Hawking, who worked on Far Cry 2. Those are pretty big names. Damiani, why are you so excited about them?
No, I'm not. Okay, I'm not excited. The thought in my head, I think, where this maybe is going to go is that I think this device is this isn't the device that Amazon, like, this isn't the game machine.
So for some Damiani theories. I love this.
I think.
Okay.
I do think they might be releasing just a typical game-specific machine. This is just kind of we want to get it out there that we are working on games, that we have the game. They want to get their presence out there. But this device it's clear that this device is meant to compete with like the likes of Chromecast. This is what they're going after. But then they're like, oh, but we also got gaming, so we're going to try and get like the mobile gaming vibe on board. Like the things they're showing are very more, as you pointed out, more specific to they felt like or looked like more enhanced mobile games, essentially. Not quite anything that you'd see on PS4 or Xbox One, but something you might have seen like a lower end game like on 360 or PS3 possibly. But they're getting all these people. It's not just for that box. There's got to be more to it. And not just game development. I think they want an actual dedicated machine at some point.
All right, so none of us will buy this thing for $99. I want to know if this bizarre Damiani theory comes out to be true and Amazon is working on a bigger box, what it would take for you to buy that thing. Elise, you go first. What would make you buy an Amazon machine?
I kind of want to get a Steam machine, so I don't think I can afford the Amazon box.
Ben, what game can Kim Swift make for you to make you buy an Amazon box?
I mean, the reason I buy any box, right, anything, is because I feel like there's a game coming out that isn't something I've ever seen before.
Sure.
Even, not necessarily it's going to be good, but I want something new. I want something to excite me. If you say, here, a worse version of console games and ported mobile games, that's not going to make me buy anything. You know, I want a new experience.
And that's why I like Damiani's theory, because I feel like if these two very legitimate game developers saw that reel that we saw, that's just like, oh, wait, are these just like mobile games? I don't think they wouldn't like say, okay, Amazon, I'll take your money. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Damiani, what would make you buy that box?
Oh, there's a few things. They released the best version of Final Fantasy XIV, with exclusive in-game content.
That's a fair answer.
Like a Sephiroth one-winged Black Angel add-on, or Cloud's Buster Sword.
Yeah.
That really wouldn't make it, but like a cool mount. Or you get like Kingdom Hearts 3 exclusive early on Amazon. The Amazon.
If it's like a week early.
They're going to call the system the Amazon River.
That's such a good name for that console.
The River.
So here's what happened is, coming into this conversation, I had no hope for Amazon Game Studios.
Yeah.
Damiani just reactivated it.
Wait, what?
You reactivated my hope.
No.
Because you're
That
telling
was
me
not
that
what I
like,
was trying to
maybe
do.
they're going to make another console down the line that's actually like a
Man, it's gonna
legitimate
bomb.
commitment to games.
No, that's gonna be terrible.
This thing to me doesn't seem like a commitment.
Amazon needs, if they are serious, they need to partner with someone else. They're not doing it themselves.
Yeah, I guess
They
so.
need to team up with Microsoft, because Microsoft's here's the future. I'm telling you from the future. I'm telling you what's gonna happen. Microsoft's screwed, and this is gonna be our segue into another segment later.
Sure.
Microsoft's screwed with Xbox One. They're not gonna turn this around, but they're gonna look to Amazon, because Amazon's like got a little bit of buzz going. They're gonna team up together, and the next gaming device is gonna come from the two of them. And it actually is going to be, in the next generation, that device is going to be the one that becomes the market leader.
I can tell you that will never happen.
Sorry, that's what happens. It sucks. It's really going to suck.
Why would that suck? If Amazon has any influence,
it would suck for me because it means Japanese games are going to go away.
They'll never go away.
No, in
I
fact,
feel like we're jumping to a lot of
in fact,
conclusions.
Japanese games are coming back bigger than ever.
This is a terrible future, I'm telling you. We need to change it now.
What can we do now?
We should make a side bet.
What side bet do you want to make?
That this device will be, people in a year from now, people will be writing about this device that it was people got excited and it became nothing.
The Ouya.
Yeah, it's basically
The Fire TV will be nothing in a year is your bet.
yeah, like it'll be like every other failed device where it's like a year later, oh, they bet a lot of money on this, it didn't pan out.
I'll take that bet. I'll say a year from now it's selling better than Roku.
The Roku. Okay.
It has more name recognition than a lot of those boxes.
I think the
I
price
think
will
that's
do okay.
different. That's not what I'm saying though. I'm saying like it'll become irrelevant. It might be more popular than those right now, in a year from now it'll be irrelevant.
I'm saying a year from now it'll still be relevant. I'll take that bet.
Okay, so it is irrelevant.
Yeah.
But Roku is not the measurement that we're gonna.
We'll
judge
meet
on,
here
right?
a year from
Yeah.
now.
It needs to be like it's still being like in the news. Like this is a big deal. Like Amazon's a game changer.
Yeah.
A year from now,
Yeah.
like next E3.
I think a year from now,
next
Amazon...
E3, the CEO of Amazon, who we don't know right now, is gonna walk out there.
Is
and
your phone on? Whose phone just vibrated?
That Mike's.
Oh my gosh,
You-
turn your phone off.
It is off, but
You
you
can't
told me.
speak until you turn your phone off.
No, we have a story now.
No, we don't. I'm
We were
so
gonna
frustrated
listen to
you
that
did
song.
Okay, we're not listening to any... No, oh my gosh. The nerve of this guy.
But anyway, the
No,
Amazon-
you got a 5-minute timeout for having your phone on. Elise.
Next topic.
Oh, we can move on to the next topic. No, I want to do the side bet actually, because I think in a year from now, here's the deal. If Amazon is still relevant, if the Fire TV is still relevant 1 year from now, you have to make a painting for me. I'm going to buy you a watercolor set, and you have to make a painting of the Fire TV.
Okay,
All right.
I can't do that in
What do you want?
Photoshop. Bravely Default didn't really sell 200,000 copies. You have to acknowledge that it only sold 80,000 copies.
Deal. I'll do that. Fine, whatever. I'll make up a fake acknowledgement. But anyway, so as Elise wanted us to do, we can move on finally. Phil Spencer is the new head of Xbox. That was announced this week. We can applaud. That's fine. What's cool about that is head of Xbox, that position ceased to exist for a long time. I think since Don Matrick left, there was no head of Xbox. And I thought that role would never be filled again. Is anyone encouraged by this news?
Ooh.
That's okay. So if you're just listening,
Yeah.
Ben
no one
just
knows
shook
what just
his
happened.
head. He just shook his head emphatically.
Ben threw down the book. What's
Why are
happening?
you not excited about head of Xbox, Phil Spencer?
I'm not exactly against Phil Spencer. I'm just sort of indifferent about him. I feel like there are people at other companies, and even though they don't always do the right thing, like I believe that Shuhei Yoshida cares about games, or he's convinced me that he cares about games. I feel like Satoru Iwata, the way he acts, his presence, convinces me that he cares about games. Whenever I watch Phil Spencer, he tells me again and again that Xbox is about games, and I never buy it, and I never see any evidence. Maybe that's not a great reason, but it's how I feel.
His
That's
push
so
for this,
funny.
he was like now at Gamers at the head of.
Like
he said that or he
I
tweeted
feel
that or
like
something.
the Xbox One has been telling and not showing. Like that might as well be its motto.
So I guess how I would refute that, if I had to, is I would say Xbox One launched with Killer Instinct and Dead Rising 3. You know, it launched with some games that like probably weren't likely to happen. Like it'd have games.
Can I counter specifically with Killer Instinct?
Yeah, please.
I feel like Double Helix was super passionate about that game, Killer Instinct, and you can see when
Yeah.
you play it. Now that Double Helix is gone, it's very obvious that Microsoft has no idea what to do with Killer Instinct.
I mean, we watched that whole thing that Patrick made. It was like
Right.
the passion came from them. They're like,
Right.
Microsoft, please let us make this. And
Right.
Microsoft's like,
And now you just get the sense that Microsoft is saying, we have this, so someone else please keep making characters.
So it's, what is it, Iron Galaxy, who did Dive Kick, now has
Those guys are
Killer
great.
Instinct.
Those guys are great. Iron
Will they
Galaxy's
be able
great.
to do it? I mean, can that team pull off Killer Instinct?
I think they have a good chance of doing it. There's something I know I can't actually mention on air, but that has me a little hesitant. But excluding that, I think they're the best. You know, anyone would have to deal with this. Anyone would have to deal with this
Sure.
issue.
Yeah.
I think they would have probably they're most capable of dealing with this issue.
Yeah.
I just got a breaking news text from Jeremy Hoffman in the hallway.
Sure.
Adam Sessler left Rev 3.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you hit it here first.
And on
And
Twitter.
he is now taking over the head of Xbox from Phil Spencer.
Yeah. What else is in that text?
He just said Adam Sessler left Rev 3 Twitter, and then I looked up and he shrugged at me through the window.
That's how we do updates here.
I don't know.
on
We
BT
can't.
Time.
I feel like we can't responsibly
Yeah,
respond to that.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean? We'll have
Yeah.
to figure it. We'll get that whole story later.
Here we go.
But we
Tom.
at least acknowledge it. We're current, guys.
We are current. This is all live. I guess that associates that.
Even though you could listen to this on Thursday.
You could be listening to this like a year from now when you're like, they want to know if I won that bet or
Yeah.
not about the Apple TV.
Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt that, you guys.
So at least I'm curious how you feel about this. Basically, what I want to talk about in association with this is how important do you think a company's leader is in association to how you feel about its product?
I think this is important. In this case, I think that they are pushing the angle of this will be a new unified front for Xbox, to unify all these divisions under one clear and concise,
Human being.
like, head. And I think that's a smart idea because bureaucracy gets muddled, and when you don't have one clear vision, you're going to see all these different divisions doing different things and not just focusing like they're. I don't necessarily share all your sentiments about Phil Spencer. I think like maybe he just tries to be more of a businessman and a showman, and that kind of comes across more than him being a gamer. But I am always hopeful for Microsoft because I think that they get vilified a lot. So I hope that this is them turning a new page, and they're trying to put someone which I guess they think has a lot of experience at the company, at the front of them.
A lot of experience.
But yeah, it could all go to hell. I mean, let's.
As long as you acknowledge that.
Yeah, I
then
mean,
we're all
who
good.
knows? Really, like everything's constantly in flux and changing. So.
Right. I'm on the Lee side on this one. I'm a little excited for Phil Spencer. I feel like you're right. Like you said, like just having a person there who's leading Xbox. Xbox didn't have a boss. They had like devices and services or whatever. Now they have a person who's just charging Xbox, just making decisions there for Xbox.
Of course, they also are hiring and appointing to high positions people that would say that they would sell off the console division.
Yeah,
so who
that's
knows?
a reference to Stephen Elop.
Yeah, who knows?
But to me, this hire kind of indicates, hey, we need to have a little faith in this little Xbox could still work out.
Yeah, they're trying. They're trying, Ben.
So time for news bits. This week's news bit: Uncharted 4 game director Justin Richmond left Naughty Dog to go work at Riot Games, makers of League of Legends. Ben,
Yes.
is he going to go work on League of Legends?
No.
I kind of think the same thing.
Yeah.
What do you think he's working on there?
Riot Games?
So there was obviously when you have somebody like the director of Uncharted 4 coming
Yeah.
in, you want to kickstart something. I just don't get the sense that League of Legends, they have an idea of what works. They know it works. They don't need a guy to kickstart League of Legends, so it has to be something else. And you've obviously heard rumors about that card game, that League of Legends card game. That
I've
got
not
leaked.
heard rumors of that. Fill
Okay,
us all in.
well, so they apparently a bunch of information leaked a while ago that League of Legends was working on a card game that would
Like
be free to
Hearthstone.
play. Kind of, yeah. Hearthstone is a good comparison. I don't think it's that either. That seems a little bit too small scale for somebody like the former director of Uncharted 4. And I was thinking about it. This is all hypothetical situations. What could Riot be working on?
That's
that
all
would
we
make
do on
them
this
a lot
show.
of- yeah.
Yeah.
What if it was an MMO? What if Riot took their universe and their characters and tried to make a free-to-play MMO?
That would be huge. I think they would be a prime competitor, I feel like. They have enough funding, certainly, right?
Yeah.
What would you want out of that MMO? I feel like you would play it. You're day one playing that MMO no matter what.
Why do you
almost.
think I'm day one playing that MMO?
I feel like you're game. You're game to see what they would do.
That's true. I'm curious.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. What would I want out of it?
Do you think they would use like champions and stuff? Like
Totally.
it would be entire crossover?
I guess if you have an MMO and having everybody be like a champion doesn't make a lot of sense, but maybe
Yeah.
you could train under a champion or you could like learn skills that those champions know. But I think what I would want is I wouldn't want them to just make another MMO. I would want them to make something different. In the vein of Guild Wars where it's like this feels more like an action game or something else other than just what we've seen a million times.
Yeah, I mean, if you hire Justin Richmond, you're not making a normal MMO, I feel like.
But I don't think they could make something that didn't have League of Legends associated with it, right? Like, I don't think Riot Games presents Starfall, a new MMO, and a brand new universe with new characters. I don't think that would be smart for them.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, like the card game, it's kind of expanding their own franchise.
Right.
Of League, you get more these characters.
What would you want out of a Riot MMO?
So I would want. Oh my gosh, I can tell you what I wouldn't want. I don't want like those weird I got like a candy costume. I don't want any of those characters to wear like their little nurses swimming suit stuff.
That's all I would want from it. Like, where's the candy costume?
But doesn't like crushing the world to you? Like that's one of the things is like stupidness aside, like it makes the world weird if people are walking around in candy
Yeah,
costumes.
no, I just like adorable stuff. But anyway, sorry, Kyle, go on.
Those skins are so popular in League of Legends. Just the I'm a sexy cop outfit.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much those things sell.
I would want an MMO without sexy cops in it, I think.
You would?
Yeah.
Wow. I think you're in the minority.
Yeah, I'm
Which is kinda
sorry to
sad.
take that stance,
No.
but I don't think I want sexy cops in my MMO.
So, Mike Damiani is our resident Final Fantasy XIV player.
And I feel like he's thinking about it. You've been scratching your chin for probably the moment we started talking about Riot. What are you scheming up right now?
I think he's just trying not to fall asleep, honestly.
It's the candy costumes, isn't it?
Not the candy costumes.
What do you think they're working on? What do you think Justin Richmond is working on, Damiani?
I mean, is it too far-fetched to think that they're... Do you think it absolutely has to be... Let me ask all three of you this. Do you think it has to be something that's multiplayer and online? Do you think they would dare do a more story-driven kind of... Okay, I'll concede it might be online, but maybe a more story-driven kind of singular player, like a single-player experience, but has some kind of closer to something more akin to Dark Souls, and that's the extent of the multiplayer.
Absolutely
is that you
not.
interact with players on a limited basis, but it's not it's not a oh my gosh, what's the dumb word when it's always online.
Persistent?
Thank you for rescuing me from failing words 101. Yeah, I don't know if it has to be persistently online. Some of the talent that they're hiring, it just indicates that they're going for a more story-driven experience, or maybe they are trying to do the other side. If you don't think that it could be a single player experience, maybe it is. They're trying to do. Hey, we're going to prove you can do an online experience that is really story driven. What was it? SWTOR tried to do that.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out too well. So maybe the Riot's we know a little bit more than you guys. We have a little bit more experience in this. And we know Blizzard's been doing this for a while, but they're kind of falling off a little bit. Maybe it's our turn to try and do this, and we're going to hire the talent to do this, because this is going to be huge. League of Legends is big, but we want something bigger.
So here's the strange thing. Earlier this year, I went to the World Finals with Ben, and we watched this presentation from Riot. Mm-hmm. And they talked about when they started the company and what for. They like competitive games. They started Riot to make competitive games. And I feel like that's why Ben is objecting your idea that it might be anything single player. Is that what's up, Ben?
A lot of it did come from that presentation. You're absolutely right. They just have this conviction where they know what type of games they want to make, and that's competitive and free to play. It's almost like they treat it like a philosophy, that anything else just isn't Riot, right?
Yeah,
It wouldn't make sense as a Riot game.
So I'd love that Dark Souls meets Uncharted, but I just think it's super unlikely.
Then I think it's going to be very story oriented. They're going to try and do a meaningful story within some kind of competitive multiplayer.
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe it's a way to get people hooked. Everyone buys costumes and hats because they like superficial stuff. If you gave people an additional reason to care about some other type of vanity type item because there's a story behind it, maybe that's another way to sell things. I don't know.
I think people like those though because they like them because other people see them in it. Do you know what I mean?
No, that's true, but the story's still there. This is probably why they're the geniuses and they're working on this, because they probably have the idea in their head right now about what that next thing's going to be and how they're going to apply it
and how you're going to spend money.
I think an MMO would make the most sense because those tend to be more story driven. Anyway, they're just going to figure out a different way for the monetization other than just hats I keep saying hats, but skins. We'll think of something else besides skins, but doesn't break gameplay balance, which has been the bane of other free to play. But here's you pay for these individual buffs or 2x experience weekend, pay us $5 more. Here's this item with all these stats already. You can just skip half the game because you don't.
MMOs I think really lend themselves to that kind of thing.
Pay to go to 90.
Yeah, exactly.
Right away.
Paying to go to level 90.
Skip the game. Don't even play it.
The other half of the story, to me, really is
what's happening to Uncharted.
What's happening to Uncharted 4?
It's done.
Ilias, Sony said this will not impact the development timeline of Uncharted will not be impacted. Is their official quote? I want to use their exact words there.
But they said it for Amy Hennig.
When Amy Hennig does exact same words. Ilias, is that even possible that Uncharted 4 is not impacted after those two key people have left?
I mean, I guess if no one actually knows the release, then how would the general public know if it's being impacted or not?
Impacted? How could...
Do you mean time-wise or quality or
Yeah, I mean
how are you foreseeing it?
I have to imagine that they're at least 1 month in development. Even if they're 1 month in, having your 2 key people leave the project is going to impact your timeline, I feel like.
And
How could it not?
We haven't heard who's like replacing either of these people.
No. Probably because of this. They probably knew this was happening too.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, is there something going on over there that is, causing people to?
Oh, you
That's
got
the-
Damiani pointing. What's
Sorry,
up?
That's the question I want answered. I want to know if there's something going on there.
At Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Honestly, what's happening with Uncharted 4 to me sounds a lot like what happened to Halo 4. And I feel like you heard about in the initial periods of Halo 4's development, different people wanted it to be different things.
Yeah.
And eventually, the decision was, no, you need to make a Halo game. Let's not get too crazy with this.
Yeah, who is that? There was like Ryan Payton, was that, I
Yep,
think?
Ryan Payton. Yep, that was the biggest one.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not saying necessarily that they wanted to be Uncharted to be something crazy different and, people got kicked out because of that. But I think Uncharted is too key to Sony, and I think they know how to make those games. So I don't, it'll probably be impacted. It maybe wouldn't be what it would otherwise be if Amy Hennig and this Riot guy were there, but I think it'll still come out in the next 2 years, for sure.
I'm real sad Justin Richmond has now been relegated to this Riot guy. He's just another Riot guy.
Yeah, I feel like it's harder to stand out at that company.
Yeah,
When-
it's a big company. They got a lot of employees.
If Riot does ever make another game, when do you guys think this would come out? How long would it be until we see
like
another
3
game
years
from
from now,
Riot?
right?
He's the expert.
The thing that I'm worried about with Riot is the same thing I'm worried about with Blizzard, is League of Legends is so successful and so profitable that they could just keep working on it forever. There is no timeline for
They're
them.
Riot
swore they would,
Games.
yeah.
What's that?
Riot Games.
They make
Not a convincing argument.
It's future proofing.
Yeah, exactly. If you're building an MMO, especially at least 5 years. Do you know? We'll never
But
see this soon.
If this, so we had this information that leaked about the League of Legends card game was a long time ago, and I feel like a card game is much smaller than the supposed MMO.
Yeah.
I think Riot could very easily fall into the habit of, if this isn't the best thing, we just keep working on it.
Yeah, well, I
You
guess
know?
Blizzard does that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That'd be cool. I mean, good for Riot if they're willing to be that person.
definitely.
Valve does it too.
Valve's weirder about it.
I mean,
No, you're weird on
I just had this kind of thought that I think is really weird and challenges my perception of games.
Ooh, give us your challenging thought.
One of the biggest companies in video games right now, one of the companies that is growing the most quickly, built all of their success off of a completely free-to-play game. One of the most powerful companies in video games right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is insane.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine it sustaining itself,
It is.
and it just keeps doing it, though. It keeps getting bigger.
Like, that graph just keeps going up, right? There's
Yeah,
no
exactly.
dips. There are no dips.
And
So-
they don't even know why.
Right. It's because of sexy cops.
I feel like Mike
so I don't wanna
is
hurt their
like
business.
screaming inside. Sorry.
No, for what?
You just had a look
The,
on your
the
face.
rise of
like
League of
you were-
Legends
yeah.
as our biggest PC game, you know?
Because it's free to play.
Do you ever feel alienated from PC gaming?
When's Dota 2 going to surpass it?
Will
No.
Dota 2 ever surpass it, Ben?
No. I think the reason Dota 2 will never surpass it is because League of Legends had such a huge lead time, right? It came out first. It got that audience, right? It had that impact. It's surprising how quickly Dota 2 has grown and how much competition it is, but I think, kind of like the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, getting out first was really important for League of Legends.
Okay, I'll buy that actually. This week in great news, Square Enix rethinks its strategy after Bravely Default's success was the headline. I just absolutely just read the headline off our site just then. Basically, what happened was Square Enix's president, Yasuke, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Matsuda, admitted that going global, trying to get a global market for each game, was a bad idea. And was amazed how well Bravely Default sold in the U.S. and around the world. They didn't even publish in the U.S. Nintendo had to publish it for them because they said, actually, Square Enix, we think people want this game. And now he heard it and is admitting that was wrong and says in the future, his quotes, wants to do more heavy RPGs. Is it wrong that I feel excited about this?
I feel like I've been waiting to hear this exact sentence for about 6 years.
Exactly. Yes. It's like a breath of fresh air to hear Square Enix themselves saying, "Yeah, oops, yeah, Hitman Absolution was bad because we tried to make it global."
This is what you want to hear. Like, this is a company that's doing the right thing,
Yes.
right?
Well, yeah, it's saying they'll do the right thing.
Yeah.
Do you have reason to believe, Elise, that they will continue to make more Bravely Defaults?
Yeah, I think this is easier. This is easier for them. Instead of trying to, localize and adapt their games, they're like, we'll just make it as like hella crazy Japanese as we want, and that's our MO, and we'll do that. Like,
yeah, I should read his quote word for word because I really love it. In the past, when we developed console games with a worldwide premise, we lost our focus, and not only did they end up being games that weren't for the Japanese, but they ended up being incomplete titles that weren't even fit for the global audience. On the other hand, there are games like the JRPG we made for the Japanese audience with the proper elements, Bravely Default, which ended up selling well all around the world. Word for word, this is like, yes, that's what I want to write to you, and he knows.
200,000 copies, says.
In their own press release, they say they sold 200,000 copies in the first 3 weeks of its release.
You guys are just late to the party, that's all.
Late to what party? What are you talking about?
Final Fantasy 14. How disastrous that crap was.
Totally.
And this is
I see what you're saying.
So
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is not
this is another
surprising
sign.
to me because this is another step in the right direction. This next step after the first step I saw from them, like you followed all my stuff the last few years. Like I've been really hard on Square Enix because injustifiably so. Those guys were screwing up everything left and right.
Yeah.
And then Final Fantasy 14, like we're gonna stick with it. We're gonna do it. I'm like, all right, cool decision, but we'll see how it turns out. You guys. You made one of this really bad MMO. How could you possibly turn this around? And then just talking with, I call him Yoshi P. That's like the nickname everyone kind of calls him.
He's the head of 14.
Yeah. He took over, and that guy just turned everything around. But interviewing him last year at PAX, just how blunt that guy was. Like straight up saying, no, this sucked, that sucked, this sucked. Like we were completely wrong about this. People didn't know what they were doing. Like. Usually you expect PR type answers like, it was a little rough. Like, no. He was just straight up they didn't know what they were doing. Like, the guys made an MMO, not only made a bad MMO, they made a bad game. And because they were out of touch with what people wanted out of an MMO nowadays. And you have to, the best thing they said was, you have to put your ego in check. Like, Square Enix, I think, had a little bit too much of an ego, and they would not recognize that some people are doing it better than we are now, and it's not that bad to look at what they're doing and borrow some of that to make yourself better. It's kind of how the cycle goes. Like people do copy stuff, but you just improve upon it. To see that and hear that from an actual the developer, the people behind actually making the games. I'm like, and then hearing the Luminous Engine developers like the E3 before talk about the disaster of how long 13 took to make, and they understood that can't happen anymore. It just seems like there are newer people who are getting a chance now there who see their bosses kind of making these mistakes and all right, we cleaned house basically. And then they had those recent layoffs and they had the restructuring because they did terrible. And they were forced to change, but it's good to see the Luminous Engine was very positive to see what they were talking about there, and seeing what they've done with the Realm Reborn. And then this with actual physical release, single player experiences, that sounds good.
So,
I like this.
Are we all high on Square Enix right now?
My excitement for Final Fantasy 15 has never been higher.
I mean, I think the truth is that Square Enix has sort of earned themselves another chance with things like A Realm Reborn and Bravely Default. But no matter what they say, no matter what they do, it all hinges on Final Fantasy 15. I think if Final Fantasy 15 is received the same way that 13 was, I don't know if they can ever get any sort of goodwill back. It feels like such a momentous game for them.
You're right. It feels like it all lies on that
It
game.
does. It really does.
Elise, are you into Final Fantasy 15?
Am I looking forward to
Yeah.
or anticipating? No, I didn't play 13.
You don't have to play 13 to play 15.
Yeah, and then maybe that's when I will feel excited about Final Fantasy 6. I've only played 6.
6 is I guess you played the right one if you only played one. But did you not like 6?
No, I enjoy it, and I wish I played more JRPGs. But yeah, for me, I remember when 13 came out, and I was like watching all the marketing for it, and I was like, I don't think there's any accessible waypoint for me on this. Like, I wish there really was.
No, that's like, I mean, like, they've openly admitted they tried to make it too global. They're like, oh, we'll make a global game. Here's Final Fantasy 13. Everyone in the world will like it. And then nobody likes
It's not all sugar and rainbows. What's the next topic?
Next topic's a weird one.
I get it.
What?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Never mind.
I like that you supported her at least.
There was one trailer that I kept seeing for
Oh
Final
no, I
Fantasy.
do get it now.
What?
God
What are you
damn
doing?
it.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Never mind.
What is that? Is that a quote
Yes.
from Lightning?
Saz.
Sus.
screaming at
Did you?
her.
Come on, man.
No, I don't remember the trailers
Because you
for
didn't
Final
play
Fantasy
it.
13.
No,
I
it's
did.
in the game.
It is in the game.
I do. I remember.
Not all sunshine and rainbows.
I can't remember one specific line from that entire game.
Yep.
How bad
All right.
that any of you do.
If you
don't
remember
remember
one,
a single
let it be
line in
that
that?
one.
Sorry?
There's plenty of memorable lines in there.
What's your other one? That
Foul C. Let's see. Foul C.
Those
this.
aren't lines.
Those aren't
Let's
lines,
see.
dude.
lines.
Yes, they are. Literally, Lightning would just be like, say that word, and that would be it.
I mean, I don't know. It's weird that there's.
No, actually, there's nothing.
There's
There's
nothing.
nothing memorable about that game.
Well, I
It
mean,
was even better when you played 13-2 and they told you what the story was in a recap, and you were like, that didn't happen. Wait, what? Wait, no, that didn't happen.
Chapter 5. Not all sugar and rainbows.
Yeah.
Sugar
Is
and
it
rainbows?
sunshine or sugar?
Sunshine
Maybe
and
it's
rainbows.
sunshine.
I think it's sunshine.
Don't you even! You think you die and everything will be sugar and rainbows?
What do you want from me?
So the last story I wanted to talk about is just it's a little, weird little one. Basically, what I do for our news stories is I go through our Game Trailers news section. I saw this one. 10 million minutes of Titanfall were streamed on Xbox Live.
Can I tell you, when I first got this email from you, I thought it said 10 minutes. And I was like, so what? Like,
Yeah.
To me, I still say so what, even if there's a million after that. Why is that a press release?
I don't know. I mean, I think I do know the answer, but I don't care.
Give us your answer. Why is that a
Because
press
they want
release?
people to be talking about, it's a big number, it has the word Titanfall by it, and they want people to talk about it, and people just read headlines, they won't actually read the articles on Kotaku and stuff. You're like, oh man, 10 million hours of Titanfall has been streamed, like, whoa, that game's super popular, maybe I should try playing it and stuff.
Someone sat in a room and they said, okay, guys, we've got this new Twitch thing that we're trying to promote, and Titanfall's our big game. How can we combine those?
Yeah.
This is what they came up
and
with.
Twitch probably likes it too.
Oh, Twitch loves
Twitch
it.
Yeah,
loves
you
it.
know?
Yeah.
Has anyone messed around with the Twitch stuff on Xbox One?
Actually, no.
I haven't either.
I haven't either.
I'm just curious how it does.
Apparently it's good. Apparently it works. And within
Apparently it works.
within that
Isn't it?
press release, they actually said I think 108,000 unique broadcasters from Xbox One in its first week. So I mean that number to me is an actual number of people as opposed to like minutes of fun or whatever. That's a lot of people who just chose to hop on Xbox One and say Xbox broadcast, and then show their gameplay to the world.
To the world, more like, what? How many broadcasts were there about? Like 100,000? So it means
100,000.
like about like 99,000 something only had like one person watching.
Right, because if you actually think about how many Xboxes are out there, yeah, there's like, but to me, like broadcasting even to one person is such a unique, like unheard of thing until this moment where that person is watching you play a game. That like even if it's one person, I see that as sort of rewarding.
Wasn't the press release also worded that was like kind of saying like streaming's not like it's not a passing thing, it's like here to stay? I read something around when this went out that said like, hey, both on PS4 and Xbox One, people are streaming a lot on both and are not stopping. Like this is, it felt like it was more of a push towards like that. Like that's a draw for gaming. Like, hey guys, stream more. Like this is the next big social thing with your gaming experiences. Streaming, stream this, stream that.
I feel like I have a sort of disturbing anecdote here.
Give us the
So-
most disturbing anecdote
Ben
you got.
story time.
So
Good story
I've
time.
Hearthstone is my thing right now.
Yeah.
It is the game that I'm playing.
Yeah.
I've probably put between 80 and 100 hours into Hearthstone. I have twice that amount watched Hearthstone streams. Twice that length.
You've watched 180
No,
hours.
I've watched between like 150 and 200 hours of streams in the last month and a half.
Ben, when you said I have a disturbing story, I was prepared. I was ready for something disturbing, but that was worse than what I imagined. What are you watching for? What does that feel like when you're watching it?
It's so weird because how it started is I was like, okay, I want to be better at Hearthstone. I want to
Sure.
watch people that are better at me playing this game because it moves slowly enough that I feel like you can see somebody do something and you can sort of understand. And the best ones explain their moves. And so I felt like I was learning a lot, but then it kind of changed. There were a couple of people that I watched that were really like charismatic, and I was like, I like them. They're like charming people. I like not only am I learning stuff, they're entertaining.
Yeah.
And so it was like I would come home from work, and I knew because they streamed at the same time every night that they would be there. So I would like eat my food and watch them, and it was like, holy shit, what's going on? This is a totally new thing. I'm choosing to watch somebody stream because they're entertaining and knowledgeable about the game. You know, I think that's kind of crazy. And I would do it every night.
Elise, have you extensively watched someone else stream for like a prolonged period of time?
Yes, though sometimes my husband will stream, and I'll sit with him and I'll work the chat on PS4.
You'll work the chat for him?
Yeah.
That's really funny. So wait, what do they say to him? And then do you act like you're him?
No, I acknowledge that I am there.
Okay.
And sometimes his mic will pick me up. But we have a friend Kevin who he like streams all the time, and he's playing like Skyrim and stuff like that. And we'll check him out sometimes. But like he's got like 7 people watching him all the time. Kevin, if you see this, it's because he streams like all day.
Yeah.
But only for like those 6 or 7, if he's lucky, people. And I can't imagine doing that. You know?
But like that thing is, there's 6 or 7 real people watching Kevin play Skyrim is baffling to me still.
But he's talking to them, and then
like they're having a relationship. There is like some interpersonal relationship happening there.
You know what's really interesting though? The Hearthstone streamers that I watch are the most popular ones, and sometimes I'll be curious and I'll watch, because there are always a ton of people streaming Hearthstone.
Absolutely.
I'll go and I'll watch the people that are getting like 100 viewers or 50 viewers.
Yeah.
And the difference between the most popular ones and the ones that don't have that many people is when I watch the popular ones, it feels like I'm playing the game with them. When I watch the people that don't have many views, it's like I'm watching them play the game by themselves. Aww. And I think it's really hard to make people feel like they're part of it. I think it's a skill.
Yeah.
That not a lot of people have developed.
And Damiani, you're pretty into streaming these days, right? What would you say is your confidence in Twitch becoming a huge thing within the next 5 years?
I mean, huge. It's already huge.
It's already huge,
What are
right?
you defining as the next level in huge?
Next level in huge is our parents know what it is.
Okay, if that's your meter, then never.
Yikes. Yeah, I don't know about that
Do
one.
you think it'll get sold? Do you think it'll become so big it has to be sold?
I think I think now that they're getting, the numbers are coming out about how many people are streaming on their systems.
Yeah.
And people who are streaming just on their PCs or just using like how we do it. Like,
Yeah.
That just shows how big they're getting, and they're only getting bigger. And I feel like they can try and expand as they are and kind of hold on to all that stuff, but it does feel like people are looking at Twitch and are probably with envious eyes and dollar signs like, how do we get Twitch to be us?
Yeah.
How do we get them to come to us?
'Cause I think it's hard to
how much
become
money?
Twitch.
How much money would you want to be exclusively under our brand?
Yeah, I bet Twitch will get
No,
sold.
I mean, I'm sure even before now, someone's had to have approached them,
Yeah.
like even bigger fish to like try and buy them out.
And I think they're growing too fast to sell right now because they don't even know where
I think
Lotopos,
they're in a period where they probably just want like angel funds and stuff like that to
Yeah.
just keep their expansion going. But I think it'd be anyone looking at them would be a little bit too soon to jump in. I think give it a minimum another year, unless you're going to go all in. And by all means, someone could do that. But I think they're in such a state of growth right now that it's going to take at least another year to see, where it ends up. Like if it still holds steady, or if it bursts and it comes back down. Like people just don't care about like the Xbox or the PS4 streaming anymore. They just want to be on PC. So we'll see.
watch game trailers on Twitch weekdays,
Oh yeah.
6 p.m.
So the one concern I have about like Twitch, or it's not necessarily a concern, but I think that what people are looking at, because there is Ustream and there is Twitch. Those are like the two biggest ones right now.
Yeah.
Twitch is definitely more gaming centric. That's what they're all about. That's what they're known for. We still see gaming companies like Nintendo and Sony do their big presentations with Ustream versus being on Twitch. It's because of Twitch's, I guess, performance or how reliable it is in certain territories. where it works very well here in North America.
You're talking globally?
Globally, like
Yeah,
it needs to
sure.
be like it needs to be as good quality as it is globally. There's been like issues like a lot of people got upset about the delay with the chat, like the 60-second delay thing.
Yeah.
There's been some changes that have been like hit or miss with them. I think that with Ustream still around, like corporations kind of still gravitate a little bit towards that, but game publishers kind of gravitate towards Twitch. So it's interesting.
And people. Human
Oh yeah,
beings
definitely.
gravitate towards Twitch. Yeah.
I thought that was like already obvious.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly,
that's
yeah.
like that's where we dealt with that internally. Like we were
Yeah.
on like Ustream for a while, and like while they were nice, like kind of need to be on Twitch if we want to get any kind of like traction here. Like we're not the right place. Ustream's not the right place for us for what we are doing. Twitch is the right place for that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised within a year. I wouldn't be surprised if there were rumblings of someone trying to either buy Twitch or they're trying to merge with someone, another entity.
Cool. Yeah, I think Twitch is an encouraging thing. It's like Twitch is the future to me. I like looking at it. And sometimes I like streaming.
You do.
Yeah, because like what Ben is saying, it's like it is like playing. You're playing with those people.
Did you guys ever, like, when you were little, did you ever people come over and, like, you played a game and they would just watch you play? Did you ever
Absolutely.
have that?
And I was
That
the
was-
watcher a lot too.
I was a terrible child, and
Oh.
I would want to play a single player game, but I would want my neighborhood friend to come. So I'd just be like, "Hey, you want to come over?" And then I would just play the game, and he would watch. I was so bad. I grew out of it. I'd like to think, but
So and he was cool with it. He would just come over and watch you play.
I think he hated it. But he was such a nice human being that he would just do it anyway.
All right, yeah, that's a fine note to end on. As we close, we should make our big bets for next week. Everyone, huge release coming this Friday. The Elder Scrolls Online is finally coming. I think, yes, on this Friday, on April 4th. Question, the bet. What will the version number be of Elder Scrolls Online by the time we record next week?
What version is it at right now?
It'll launch with version 1.
Okay, so we're not the exact number. Like, what iteration will it be on?
No, we need that exact number.
So we're pretending it's 1.0 because it could
Yeah.
be like 1.1. when it
Yeah,
comes
it'll
out.
probably launch with 1 point. You're right.
So let's
Nothing
assume,
launches
we'll
at
assume it's
1.0 anymore.
well, let's for our bet. Let's assume it's at 1.0. Just is that cool?
No, that's not cool. You can't assume
Okay,
that.
then we'll assume it's 1.1.
You make your own assumptions. What's your bet? You go first.
So there's no pretext. It could be anything. So you could
Yeah.
be like 0.62.
Yeah, you can bet whatever you want to, Damian. I'm not going to tell you what
I
to
think this
bet.
bet needs to have like what version it's at right now.
Absolutely.
That
I don't
way.
even know. It's not even public what version it's at right now.
No, the beta. What was the beta version?
The beta version doesn't matter.
Well, then it'll be one
because
number
it's
higher.
launching. It's not launching at the beta.
All right, I'm still gonna think it's 1.0. So I think it will be at 1.01. I guess because 1.1 would be like I don't know how they do it. Like I'm only used to Final Fantasy 14.
Don't be afraid to make a bad bet.
1.1, whatever.
Okay. All right. 1.1. I'm going with that. Ben, your bet?
I was going to say 1.1.
Okay.
So I'll say 1.15.
1.15.
Yeah, it's like the midway patch.
Elise, what's your
Oh my
bet?
god. 1.2.
1.2.
Sure.
And my bet is 1.08.
You'll sadly probably be the closest.
I'm probably gonna be the closest.
Probably gonna be
oh,
the
you're right. I could have said 1 and still won because you all went high. Mm-hmm. I'll take it. Winner of last week's bet. Last week, we bet. We were talking about Need for Speed the movie,
Yeah,
and
how
it's
did it do?
it's how it was doing at the box office. Not well considering it's
How did Jesse do?
60 million budget. Poor Jesse Pinkman. You know what's funny is so at E3 last year they're like Need for Speed with Aaron. What's his last name?
Paul.
Aaron Paul. And I was like, man, I don't like that guy. And it was before I'd seen Breaking Bad. So then I watched Breaking Bad. It's like, oh, this guy's a terrific actor. I really like him a lot. I hope Need for Speed is good. And then that just turned out that way. Like the me from a year from now would have loved this news. Anyway, we bet on how well it would be doing right now. Damiani bet that they'd be at 36.5 million. Bloodworth, Ben, you're responsible for Bloodworth's bet. He did a cool 38. Elise, you bet 40, and I bet 39.1. The actual money that Need for Speed has made is 37.6 million, meaning Bloodworth was the closest, meaning Ben, you just win a bet for doing nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what you win?
Silver medal.
So what you win for that bet is you get to promote one of your own videos.
Mandar update.
No, one of your own videos, one video that you've had something to do with, and then you get to sign us off and say, Twitter and thanks for watching, all that stuff.
Is it okay if it's an old video?
Absolutely.
One of the coolest things I ever got to do for this site was to go to the League of Legends World Championship, and it's like one of the only videos where it's just me on camera, and I feel like not a lot of people watched it, which probably says something. But yeah, I don't know. If you're interested, check out the League of Legends World Championship video.
We'll put the link in the description.
It was like my third week on the job, so I am nothing but stupid and excited.
It's a fun video.
Yeah, I had fun. So that's it.
No, that's not it. You got to sign us off.
Oh, I gotta sign us off?
Into the wide. Yeah.
Good night and good luck.
There's a lot more than that, but that was a good sign off.
Sorry.
The sign off
I didn't know.
mandatory update is good night and good game.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be like, hey, Twitter, and thanks for watching, and like.
Oh, I'm really
comments.
terrible with the Twitter stuff. I'm sorry.
No, it's succinct. It was succinct at least. 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 Succinct at least.